Lowco wrestling fans, grinders from all afar. Welcome to the Lowco Grind presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. Justin Jarrett joined tonight by a whole crew. We got the ref, George Dixon. We got Hulk Hagan from over at Bridges Prep, Coach Rutherford, and his wonderful mustache from Battery Creek, although now it's got a beard attached to it too, thanks to his wife. And the best hair at May River High School, Coach Powell, over there with the mute on because he's battling the coughing again. So he must have muted for the coughing. But what's up, Coach? See, told you, the coughing. Dang health insurance industry just messing us up. But what's happening, fellas? It was a big week for wrestling. Of course, we had the granddaddy of them all in our area, the Shark Invitational, the U.S. Army Shark Invitational, bigger and better than ever. Just an awesome event. Who wants to shower their praises first?
It's got to be Powell. It's his show.
No, I mean, it was. I think it went very well. I think overall we had 35 teams. I think it was 33 total with maybe three teams putting in a B team or a second team. We had teams as far as Virginia. We had a Pennsylvania team that had a scheduling conflict. They couldn't make it. They were supposed to up until the week of the event. And then we had a Tennessee team that was supposed to come in, or a North Carolina team, and they came back with a new rule. I can't remember what state it was, but you can't do two tournaments in the same week. And because we had a tournament on a Monday, Tuesday, they couldn't go to the Friday, Saturday tournament they were already involved in. So they had to back out. But we had every team in the Lowco represented. Which is always awesome to have our local teams representative, and had some kids in our local area wrestle incredibly well. And then we had the two best teams, our two-time defending 5A state champ Fort Mill High School, and then a Georgia, I think 6A two-time defending state champ South Effingham. Those two teams kind of led the way, but there was a lot of wrestling. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many matches were wrestled because that's how George gets paid. So I don't want to tell you that, and then he's going to make sure and count up that I did it correctly. And I want to say there was like 690, but I may be a little bit off. So 690 total matches over the course of the 2 days.
Good night. That's unreal. I mean, it was awesome as it always has been, but better and better every year. But the level of competition is tremendous. Compared to what you can see on a week in, week out basis. I mean, you got guys that are accustomed to being in the finals every week that are fighting for medals in this thing. So, and just the number of matches you could get if you stayed in it long enough. I mean, you could get a bunch of matches in 2 days. But Rutherford, Hagan, anybody chime in? More about the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, and that's why we push our kids to go. I mean, I had a kid take 6, and I think he ended up getting like 7 matches in 2 days. And so that's kind of why it's such a great tournament. You do get to see local competition, but like Powell said, I mean, we got people Fort Dorchester, Fort Mill, some of the big dogs from other areas always come in for that tournament. It's a great tournament. It runs well, runs smooth. Mr. Dixon, the head official, I'm sure he heard a lot from the coaches this weekend. But, I mean, it runs smooth. I mean, we really have no lapses. People keep moving. It's not as much sitting as you get to some tournaments. I mean, it really keeps moving, and that's why we like it.
Yeah, not a lot of dead mat time at all, for the most part. And you get thrown in that constellation, man. My wrestlers, it's like get thrown in the gulag or whatever because you got to fight back, man. You like 5 matches to get to the damn third place match or something. That's how it is sometimes, though.
Well, I mean, everybody did a good job, and Powell and the crew ran a great tournament. It was smooth, and as he said, not a lot of down mat time. Things flowed. They moved along, kept all the mats, 6 mats involved as long as they could, and that was a pleasure. It made it easier for everybody. It's a great tournament. It's not the state tournament. So there's no need to do all the pomp and circumstance at the end of the thing. Hey, get them in, get them out, give them their medals. Y'all have a safe ride home.
I'm a big fan of the handing them their medal as they raise their hand thing. Actually, I think that should be done more. I think it's a cool thing. I think it's a cooler moment than going and getting up on the podium. Personally, I think it's pretty awesome.
No, absolutely. And, Greg Brewer, longtime coach, very good friend of mine at from West Oak. Got out of coaching a couple years ago, and he is kind of the flow guy for us. So we pay him. He comes down, he does an awesome job. He takes a lot of stress off of me, and he likes doing the mat presentations. Number one, to get kids get their medal, and they get head out of here and go ahead and get on the road. I mean, we had I think Fountain Inn, for example, I think had a 190 a 190 champion. And he texted me that they had already pulled up, parked the bus, and made it home by 6:30. So I thought that was a really good thing for a team that drove, roughly 4 hours away to get them home, well before midnight or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I mean, it was just getting dark good, and they were already home, which is kind of what we try to do.
The Alien State, like you gotta.
You want to, Coach?
I'm sorry.
But I just disconnected. Talk amongst yourselves.
No, I think you're right though, Hagen. I mean, you were there. How long are we there till state?
Dude, like
to get a medal.
I think Chavez got done at like 1 or something. Then we're there to like 9 o'clock or something just to get like put on the podium. It's like, get in the medal, let's go. I mean, I know like the whole podium thing, but I mean, when we ran our tournament, I was making the calls while they're still doing the third placement rounds. I mean, for the podium.
And that's what Brewer was doing, which is great. I mean, he runs a great tournament. That's why you bring Brewer in. But that's why he does it. And that's what, I mean, when you got teams like South Aiken that I think he texted me, he was home at like 1-ish, it makes it great. And that's why people come to these tournaments. It makes it easy, especially if you've got a really good team, then you're expected to stay. But like, if you've got a young team or maybe I know Hanahan, like they had 6 guys, it's just that time of the year. So when something bad happens, it's not like they're waiting around all day. They can get home and recoup and get ready for the next match.
And for our sport, I mean, how many parents, how many kids do we lose because they have to sit in a gym or an arena for 15 hours, and their kid's done, whatever. They're waiting on the heavyweight, whatever, to get done so they can leave. It's just, it's tough on our sport, and it's tough to keep people involved in our sport when they have to spend that much time, all day in a gym.
Yeah, well, I was stunned at how early you got us out of there. That was yeoman's work to do that.
And I've always wondered too why, like our state tournament, we always start at 6 and then on heavyweight, and Dixon said best, sometimes those heavyweight matches, they got to wait. They get more nervous. I'm shocked we don't go the college format and draw a name and have a highlight for the state tournament. But
we're allowed to do that. That is part of the rules. You're allowed to, for a tournament, the state tournament, to adjust the weight class order so we could have a premier match at the end.
Yeah. So, well, and I just, even not as much a premier match, but, we changed the rules, I don't know how many years ago. So you draw the card. So it's not always the heavyweight being the last match.
Right. Yeah.
Especially sometimes those heavyweights, I feel for them at that state tournament. They've been sitting in that back hallway for, 2 hours now. Stressing.
They're hungry, man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. In an individual tournament, now a duel, we got to draw a weight.
Correct.
But for an individual tournament, you're allowed to make the adjustment to have a weight that's not heavyweight at the end.
Arbitrarily?
The tournament's allowed to do that.
Arbitrarily, they can just pick what weight they want to start at, or do they have to draw a card?
It would have to be a tournament that the state would basically have to decide. The high school league would have to say, hey, we were going to finish at 138, whatever. Yeah. But yes, that weight class order can be adjusted so that the heavyweights don't have to finish.
How good was that 132 final? My goodness.
Right? Boy, those kids were going at it.
Baton and Springs.
Well, that might be a state final matchup again.
Very well. Well, they're both state champs, right, from last year, but now Lucy Beckham's up to 5A.
So. Different classifications this year.
And they wrestled in the finals of the Hanahan tournament 2 weekends prior to that, and Baton beat him in a 4-3 match.
Hence the seeding.
And so it kind of flipped. So
Well, and he was
they're two really
a
good
half
kids.
second away from beating him 6-5 this time.
Right.
If he got him returned to the mat in time, he would have got him again.
He was like this close to get behind him, and he stood up.
So close.
Yeah, he just never
So
got
close.
the control on the mat beyond reaction time. So,
Right.
it was close, but a good hold by the ref. It wasn't quite there. So
Yeah, I watched the review or the video of it a couple of times, and I think it was the right call. I agree. It was close. It was real close, but I think it was the right call. It's easy to get caught up in that moment too. Everybody's going 3, 3, 3. Good for him not making that call. But it was an incredible match. Those guys are both just so phenomenal defensively. I mean, they got themselves into some positions that you're like, how does no one get a takedown out of that?
Well,
But,
the scrambles
yeah.
were great. I mean, they had so many just lengthy scrambles and funking through, diving under, leg passes, and it was fun to watch.
Really, really good. Any other big standout matches for you guys that blew you away? I'm trying to remember some of the finals.
Really, all those finals matches. I mean, anytime those South Effingham, those lightweights, they're scrappy. They're fun to watch. I always have. I love that coach. He just cracks me up. He's just so nonchalant about it. But there was that was good matches all the way around.
That was the best one of the tournament. I agree. Some of the finals were quite good though. I thought Ryan wrestled really tough against Hardiman from South Effingham. I thought Ryan Seaman wrestled really tough in that match.
Yeah, that kid is really good. And, Ryan had him in a half. I thought he was going to snap the kid's neck for 2 straight minutes, and that's been a testament to that kid. That kid fought all a really, really deep half for 2 straight minutes, and that's what Coach Bringer said after the match. He's like, "Coach, man, wow." And I was like, "No, wow, here a kid for the fact that he didn't even consider turning over." And but those are the type matches, hopefully to prepare us, as we move into our region and the playoffs and individual type stuff. So, that's why you get South Effingham here. It's one of the deals everybody's like, when you get a tournament, you want to try to be the best team. No, that's actually not what we want to do. We want to try to get teams that are better than us, significantly better than us, to try to help us get there and kind of see what it looks like. And there's no better example than South Effingham.
That's for sure. That was an impressive team. They had a bunch of champs. 4 champs, 4 runners up, which is unreal in this tournament. 12 out of 14 weight classes they placed, which is awesome, considering the quality of the field as well. Coach Powell, you've got an embarrassment of riches at 106 because you finished 2nd and 3rd. Stefano Calderon, little freshman, looked really good out there too. Yeah,
that's a good and a bad problem. And it's a good problem because they're both really phenomenal kids. They work very, very hard. They're 2 different styles. But the only weight class you can't bump is 106. It'd be a good problem if it was in the middle of the lineup. You know what I mean? Where you could drop one to a lower weight class and keep one there or whatever. If you're at 32 or 38 or 50 and 57. But they're going to keep scrapping at that 106 spot. And we got another kid who's pretty good in there too, Bryce Butler. I think he won 3 matches at 113. And we tell our kids all the time is, they're wrestling off, but those 3 kids, for most years on our team, all 3 of them would be starters and be very good, but they're all at the same weight. Now, one of them obviously will be at 113, but they never complain. They work hard. They push each other. They're 2 of them are freshmen, one's a sophomore. So hopefully they're going to continue to build, and we can build a program around it. I actually said that today at practice. Sometimes when you have to compete against your teammate, it's hard, especially when all 3 of them have placed at tournaments. So they're doing really well. So hopefully, that'll give us a little flexibility in the playoffs, and then, however the individual stuff shakes out. But I guess it's a good problem to have. And the good thing is all 3 of them are on our team.
Yeah, exactly. And you're pretty strong at 122, so it's not because folks having a good year too. It's not like you can bump everybody up a weight. That
ultimately is the problem. Is Marcus is having a really good year. I think Marcus is I think he's probably 19 or 20-2 now, or 20-3. He's having a really good year. Our 26 he's not having the year that he expected, but he can wrestle. So,
Yep.
Obviously bumping up doesn't really help us there, but between the three down there at 106 and 13, hopefully we can create some issues.
Yep. Rutherford, Hagan, you both didn't have quite as many placers this week as you'd like to, but had a couple of guys who fought it out. Certainly, Hagan, you've been banged up with the injuries. You had a bunch of guys out of the lineup again this week.
Yeah, a lot of guys out of town for the most part. So, there's nothing you can do. Family's going out of town. My rule with the kids and the parents are, hey, if it's a team event, you don't need to be here, like a duels or something. But got so many kids banged up or on concussion protocol or, out of town at the moment. So we really only brought maybe 5 varsity kids. The rest of them were JV guys. That a couple of them was their first tournament, so they're getting thrown to the lions,
thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, pretty much, man. But I was really impressed with Kevin Summers. He was kind of having a little bit of an off season. He came back and learned not play so much defense. I've had that conversation with a couple of my guys. They're just like, I'm gonna wait for the guy to shoot him. There's times in the match, with the flow of the match goes, where you cannot just play defense. You got to go and get the takedown, And you can play defense and get a takedown every once in a while, but in the day, if you're not taking shots and going for it and committing to the shots, the whole I'm gonna try to kind of grab the leg, that's not gonna work.
Well, and if you're at the end of the period or the end of the match, he's just not going to shoot if you need points. So.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Guys they're down by a point, 2 points, or 3 points. Now with a 3-point takedown, you're losing. Take a shot. Get after the kid. Do something. Don't just circle and dance with the guy. You have to have some kind of offense. What's your go-to? You got to get after the guy. You get after the guy, you might get a stall call, but at the very least, take a shot. If you give up a takedown, okay, you're already losing. But if you don't do anything, you're definitely not going to win. So,
well, I rarely pick top anymore. Rarely tell them to pick up top. I was always take bottom or take neutral, or depending on how the match is going, cut them and do the takedown,
Yeah, you got to be a beast on top. If you're picking top, you better be sure you're getting some kind of tilt, something that's going to get you some near fall. And it's a good way to get 4, right? If you can get them there and hold them for the 4 count. But yeah, you better be pretty solid on top to risk choosing that.
Yeah. That's the hard part. We talked about Dixon this weekend. If you've already got a stall call, do you take the neutral? And that's the hard part is coaching is a lot of times the kid's like, well, I want to be on top. I can pin him. Well, you were on top of him and you didn't turn him for a minute. So, we've spent a lot of practice today going over bottom, because our kids, don't want to move on bottom and they want to stall. As
we've been working on bottom too, because we ain't, I believe you pick down. I'm a longtime believer. My coach instilled that in me. You pick down and you get your one. There's no two ways about it. And we haven't been able to get those ones. And so we got to.
A lot of my guys are just I got to hit a stand up. No, you can sit out. Is
that the 40-pound champ? Is that
yeah,
40-pound champ
that's
right
the
there?
champ right there.
Yeah, he is.
Got my belly hanging
Got
out.
the pin.
Sorry about that. He should be asleep by now.
Nah.
He wants a school night.
It's a school night for me.
Piano time? Is that what you said, George?
No, I said he wants his camera time.
Oh, camera time, yeah. Well, he definitely was. He was mugging for it this weekend. We got another shot.
I got a question, Pal. How did Echeverria? He finished first, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Who was it? The Fort Mill kid he was facing? Because I know.
Fort Mill kid.
Yeah, Ernst. Yeah.
I didn't get to see that match. How did
he pinned him?
He pinned him.
That kid got early takedowns on us. They were kind of battles to get them, and then we got 2 escapes, and then our kid got a deep shot and kind of got in a scramble and ended up coming out and then sinking a half in off the takedown and pinned him. So it was
ended up right here.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it? All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you just
Yeah.
picture that work.
Just a picture. Yeah, I
And
was
even,
just taking
and even
photos.
George would have called that a pin, so we like it. There we go.
A
Yeah,
snapshot.
Etchy had a
That
really
could have
good
been
week.
there for like 100th of a second in that position, and Justin just got it at that right moment.
You're
I'll tell
right.
you
I
what,
blasted.
I have learned that from George. He is correct. The screenshot or picture does not.
That's true.
Can't tell if there's a pin from a picture. You are correct.
No, that's true. But I
give me
did
that
have
video clip of
several.
about 6 seconds, and let me see it.
Well, I got my
now.
camera blasts pretty fast. I had several sequences, several shots in the sequence. I think you would have been convinced.
I
But
understand. I had a call like that at Disney one time, and the coach was screaming about it. That was not a pin. That was not a pin. And, Disney, they've got camera people at every mat. And so the camera guy, after it was over, brought me the camera and he said, look, click, 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 click. There were 6 shots. There were 4 per second. Oh, no, 8. There were 8 because it was right at the time. There were 8 shots in the sequence, and that was 2 seconds long. And he was pinned for exactly 2 seconds. So it was pretty cool. The camera guy came over and was like, oh, man. Oh, he was pinned, man. I got it right here. Like, cool. And I said the same thing I always say. 1 shot won't tell me what I need to know. He said, oh, no. It takes 4 shots a second. 8 shots. Right on. Okay.
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a kitty. Leaning in on Hayden.
Cats and kids and all kinds of stuff getting.
Here's the photo I was looking for.
That's
The
the shot
40-pound champ right there.
That is the money shot.
Man, he was waiting all day to get out there and put on that anklet. He wanted to put on that anklet. So bad.
He was like, "Can we wrestle? Go wrestle right now." I was like, "Not yet, not yet. We gotta wait till there's like nobody on the mat."
Yeah.
Every time there was a break, though, he was ready to go. He was out.
Oh yeah, he was sitting on jump, had his shoes on and everything, ready to roll. But yeah, it was a good time. Rutherford, you didn't get to talk about your guys, but Nate Najjar had another good tournament. Continues to wrestle well.
Yeah, he's really stepping into it. We brought one senior, and the senior, this is kind of his first year really starting. I think like Hagen said, I think I brought 5 or 6 freshmen to this tournament. And one got back to day 2, which is awesome. Chris Martinez, which is cool because he's a Robert Smalls kid, so he's been a project kid for the last couple of years, which has been awesome. You like to see the youth programs are starting to click and move, and he came back and wrestled. And it's funny, he wrestled tough kids. He wrestled a stacked Lucy Beckham kid that I would have bet money probably could have beat me up. And he ended up winning one by a couple points, and that's what you want to see at tournaments like this, especially at Christmas break going into it. Can you fight the close ones? Are we out of the headlocks? Those kind of things. Are we done making the freshman moves? And so it was good. I had a great talk with the official of the year, Mr. Dixon, with the kid. And, he said it best, even though I'm a referee, don't let me have to play for the match. And so that we had a lot of good lessons this weekend. A lot of watching some good competition where we want to be and, what not to do in those situations. And don't, if it's a 2-1 match, don't make a dumb mistake that makes it now overtime. It's things like that it makes it tough, but that's why we like this tournament, because I don't think there was a single team there that didn't have somebody competing, didn't have somebody fighting for a position, trying to fight for a point.
Even Patrick Henry, Luke Sobey getting in there and getting third at 190 was really good showing from him. You never know about some of the Skiza guys, just because some of the weights are pretty tough at the state tournament, others are not as tough, and you just don't know what it means in the grand scheme of things. But to see him go up against a field like this and make it to the Conci finals and place third was really impressive. It was my first time seeing him actually wrestle, and I knew he could wrestle. He came out here from Missouri a couple years ago, so I knew that he had a background, and that even though I think they live way out in like Fairfax, like out past Hampton, but they were traveling to Reverence to train and stuff. So I knew that he was legit. Now I know how legit he's really good. So that was good to see. I'm glad to see they've got a program going. JP2 was not here though, right? That was a bummer. They haven't done as many of the local events.
Last time I talked to them, they were a little beat up. So he decided not to go. Hey, but I'm over at the Bridges. Bridges got work tomorrow, don't he?
Yeah, Macy will be across the mall.
Well, I'm at Macy's now. We were celebrating watching Notre Dame game, so I'm at his office on this. So he said to tell all y'all go Irish.
Remember, it's a work night, Hagen.
Yeah, if you would have told me Georgia was going to lose, I would say you're crazy, man.
Yeah,
Especially the way they did. Well. It was pretty impressive from Notre Dame. That was the best I've seen them.
Notre Dame looked real good.
Yeah,
I mean, growing up a Notre Dame fan, we had push-ups bet on the whole team bet against me.
Won all three. So I guess I'll be here next Thursday.
You're the good luck charm?
Yeah.
Better be there.
Maybe.
What were you saying, Rutherford?
I grew up being a Notre Dame fan, so the guys got a lot of push-ups tomorrow. They all bet against them. Apparently, my team wants to be Bulldogs, so we're going to do some Bulldog push-ups tomorrow for every point that Notre Dame scored on them. So I'll take it. I'll take the wins.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm going to still go Dogs because, live and breathe. Got to love my dogs. Grew up in Georgia fan forever. So they had a great season, but they had their ups and downs, and they just didn't play great this year. And Notre Dame had a whale of a game. So.
Yeah, it didn't help that they didn't have the quarterback. It might have been different.
I don't think Gunnar Stockton had a good game, and Beck might have helped here or there, but again, our receivers are dropping passes they should catch. Mm-hmm. We got an idiot jump out in front of the referee, and probably a touchdown. And then we turned the ball over inside the 10. So
I had Kirby fired up.
Oh yeah, he said some choice words. So.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that. He might be in a transfer portal now.
Yeah. Involuntarily, perhaps. But some of the other guys we haven't shouted out yet. The two champs, both yours, pal. Blake Butler at 150, super impressive tournament from him. And then Echeverria, who we mentioned at 175. Seaman runner-up at 106. Calderon third place at 106. Kevin Summers from Bridges, we mentioned, finished in third at 165, as well as Sobey from Patrick Henry at 190. Fourth place finishers, Bryce Stevenson from Hilton Head at 120. Antonio McKnight from Buford at 144. Henry Santee, freshman from May River at 165. Really good weekend for him. Ali Jenkins at 175. Malachi Bynum from Hilton Head at 215. And then fifth place finisher Marcus Folk from May River at 120. Sixth place Wesley White from Whale Branch at 138. Nate Najjar from Battery Creek at 144. And Gabe Fulton from Bluffton at 157. Those are your local finishers. So, all those guys did something this week. If you came out of there in the top six, you did work. Wesley White, I was really happy to see him get in there from Whale Branch. He's been putting in work, and love to see that program having success in an event like this that's usually been a little bit more than they would have wanted to bite off. So no, it is all around good stuff, man. Who else jumped out at you guys? Who you want to talk about?
I remember watching that Wesley White's match with you, man. That was a close match toward the end. I can't remember. He did something stupid at the very end of the match.
He did something stupid a couple of matches, and I talked to him, and I was like, Wesley, I love to watch you wrestle, but sometimes I hate to watch you wrestle. And him and his dad both started laughing. But yeah, he does that sometimes. He just sometimes gives away some points. But he's getting better, man, and there's real potential there. He does some things that blow you away at times. You're just like, holy cow. And so I think he'll continue to improve.
What year?
Yeah.
I believe he's a senior.
Good question. Is he? Dang it.
Yeah, I was just about to look him up. I think he is a senior.
I was thinking junior or senior, but he does continue to improve. And are there any HBCUs that have wrestling programs?
There's Allen. Allen does.
Allen does.
And now Morgan State. Morgan State. Olympic champion Kenny Monday. Kenny Monday is the coach up there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a pretty good little program over there.
Yeah.
I would say so. If Kenny Monday's involved, it's probably pretty legit.
I want to say there's another one that within the next couple of years they're supposed to start back up. So
awesome. That'd be great. I think that could be. Oh, he's a junior. Willie J.
FAMU down in Florida has a wrestling team now.
Okay.
Well, they've had one. Their club team. They've
He's
had
a junior, so that's
there he is.
good. He does
There
have
you go.
another year.
popped
That's
up.
his
Yep.
pops, Willie. But
Yeah,
yeah, I know he wants to
Samuel's
try
had
to
one for a
wrestle at the
while.
next level, and I think there may be a spot where he could continue to develop. We'll see. But definitely, he's putting in the work. So, who else? Butler. Tell me more about Butler, pal. New from Virginia, right? The Butler brothers.
Yes, sir. He moved up. He's moved here during the summer. Him and his brothers wrestled 113 for us in the tournament.
Yeah.
I think Blake finished in Virginia. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. A absolutely phenomenal kid. He is very, very smart. He's got great grades. A hard worker. He's become a really good leader for us. He kind of put a lot of pressure on himself early, moving to a new area, and kind of the expectation that he has for himself is really high. So I don't think he was wrestling as good as he could. But lately he's kind of just kind of relaxed and wrestled, and he's done really, really well. He wrestled some really good kids, and he teched and pinned his way through the tournament. It was by far the best he's wrestled all year. So hopefully we can continue to build off of that and get better. But he did a really good job of beating some really quality kids, so we're excited for him.
Yeah, he's impressive. And was it 157 now down to 150? So he's looking really strong there. Who were the most outstanding wrestlers? I didn't catch that.
I believe it was Ricky, wasn't it?
Ricky Springs from 4D was our lightweight wrestler. And then the 215 from Berkeley was our upper wrestler, MOW. He teched everybody on the way and then pinned his kid in the finals. He's really, really, really good.
That kid is that the same kid that was like slamming everybody, like taking them off the mat?
Yeah, sir. I do believe that was
and the heavyweight for Berkeley were doing a little extracurricular outside the boundary lines.
Yeah.
So
Pretty sure
Berkeley was rough. Berkeley kid at 190 was the one who injured
Freeman, right? Yeah. He slammed him into like the score table almost one time, like picking him up. He was as strong as an ox, man.
Yeah, that was a rough match. I hated to see that for Colton. He tried to fight through that match and still kind of had a chance going into the third. But
he injured his shoulder pretty bad.
Yeah.
In that match.
Yeah, and his mom was saying that his other shoulder has always been a problem, but it was the opposite shoulder this time. So, that was unfortunate to see. He missed last year after winning the state championship in Skiza as an 8th grader. So you hope to see him get back out there. Hopefully, it's not too serious and he can get back and.
Well, his dad told me they got the X-rays and it came back negative, so he's just got to
that's good.
Give him MRI. Hopefully it's just like a stinger or something,
Yeah. He was in a lot of pain. You could tell he was really trying to fight it out, but could not finish, and then wasn't able to compete on the backside, unfortunately. So hated to see that. You always hate to see somebody get hurt, and especially in a big tournament. But and he's a really promising kid, so hope he gets back on his feet soon. But yeah, it was overall good showing all around. We got 2 dual tournaments coming up this weekend. Got the May River duels back at the tank, and then the Whale Branch duels as well. Where's everybody going?
We'll be at Whale Branch.
All right. I know where Powell will be. Where you going, Bridges?
We are actually taking the weekend off to regroup because we are all lick our wounds.
I hear that.
I'll be wandering around over the at the Shark Tank.
You'll be there?
Yep.
Will you be wandering around with?
Yeah, we got the good draw. Let's go.
I think it's me, Ralph Urbanik, Will Carter, and Leonard Champagne. I think it's the 4th one.
And they're going to give us a discount this weekend, so I'm excited about that. George said
them half price.
George is going to get one free this weekend, so I'm excited about that.
It's a late Christmas present to Ashley Powell. So.
Who all you got coming in, pal?
We got Caroline Forest is one of the better teams in 5A in our state. South Effingham, Berkeley, 4D, us, Jenkins out of Georgia, Heathwood Hall, private school out of Columbia, Bluffton, Midland Valley. South Effingham's bringing a JV or a 2 team as well. I'm missing somebody. Anyways, I know we have 11.
All right.
Buford High's going with y'all.
Yeah, Buford High. That's the other one. That's correct.
All right.
So we're it's kind of an odd number. We had 12, and Wayne County backed out last week, which hey, I'm not mad at it. It happens. He's got to do what's best for his team.
Sure.
So we're either going to have a pool of 6 and a pool of 5, and then cross bracket, or we're going to hope we get another team tomorrow.
All right.
So
There we go.
Bridges come over for half price.
There you go. I know Hardyville's going to Whale Branch. Rutherford, you know who else is over there?
Yeah, we just got the list here a little bit ago. I think Hilton Head's there. I think Bluffton's got a team there. Orangeburg, Wilkinson, St. James. They're pretty tough. They were at the tournament this weekend.
Yeah,
And
they
then,
got some good kids.
There's a couple others I didn't recognize, but Landrum's coming from the upstate, so that's pretty cool. Get to see a 1A, 2A team, try to get some matches. And I think he's at like about 10. So we'll probably do the same thing, about 4 matches, little pool, and then kind of come over for the finals. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. So
Very cool. Yeah, St. James had some good kids. That 144 that won it was tough.
Yeah, he's tough.
Nathan Rose.
Yeah, I thought that was a ski.
Yeah, he pinned his way through the whole tournament. He's good.
Yeah, he was really, really tough. No, it's is it a 4A?
That's 5A, I think now.
They're public.
Is it 5A now?
It's
way
like
up
St.
Merle's Emily.
James. You think it's parochial, like a private school, but it's not.
No, they do a tournament at the beginning of the year called the Shark Duels. We went 2 years ago. They're a tough team. Well coached.
Manning also coming to Whale Branch
There you
as well as JP2.
Oh, cool.
All right, so there we go. Cool. I may try to get over there for a little bit of that. May not be able to though because I got USCB basketball on Saturday. Dang.
Yeah, we all know you're more of a wrestler.
Well, but I get paid to call the games on the broadcast.
Well,
so,
I guess so.
That's a thing.
Well, best CB you'll be.
That's right. I'll be calling the basketball
guys,
games.
I'm gonna have to head out here just a second. My phone is about to die. I'm currently trying to hold the charger, a broke charger, to the back of it like this. I don't even know what this is. I'm trying
That's
to
a
hold
CD.
the back of my phone.
That looks like a CD. All
All
right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you.
It literally
Keep up the
looks
good
like
work.
No, we thank y'all for everything you do for Wrestling and Loco. We'll see you Saturday, George, and good luck, both Bridges and Battery Creek this weekend. And thank you, Justin.
All right, have a good night.
Take care.
See you,
Be
buddy.
well.
Thank y'all.
That's Coach Powell checking out. What else we need to talk about, boys? We've covered it in pretty good detail. Anything else?
I don't know about Bridges. I think everyone's ramping up for region play. We already have our region individual tournaments the 13th, and then we're doing our duels the 22nd. We're doing all of our region in one night. I think Bridges, you guys do the same thing, don't y'all?
No, we have our region duels like the last week in January. It's like the 26th or something.
Yeah, we're doing ours earlier just so.
Oh, it's like a region. We do a region championship just one night.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay.
Where's yours at, Hagen?
Edisto? Yeah.
Yeah. And yours is at your place, Rutherford?
Yeah, we host the duels, and Hanahan's going to host the individuals because now region individuals don't matter for lower state seeding. It's all on win percentage. So being a region champ doesn't guarantee you a top 4 seed. So we don't really need to have it, but it makes it easier to do an all-region team and just get the kids matches, and that way you get to see a little bit what the competition looks like. So we'll do that at Hanahan on a Monday night, which is kind of crazy to do, you know.
Yeah, we're getting down to it fast as far as wrestling goes because the middle schools start qualifiers on the 11th.
You're 11. Yeah.
At Hilton Head.
Yeah. It's coming
Yeah, you
fast.
see old Newton over at Hilton Head. That's the same weekend as the Bluffton duels. So
nothing like 2 weeks off of school and then 1 week before you 2 days of school before you have a huge tournament. That's really great. That's really easy to manage as a middle school coach.
Yeah, I don't know how Michelini does. I was talking to him today. He had his kids because they're using Whale Branch is using some of our mats. So he was like, "Can we come and practice in your room when your practice is done?" And he's like calling the kids, making sure they're all showing up. And I can't. That's tough.
Today we had 3 show up, and one of them couldn't wrestle. He just came to watch because he didn't want to not come, which I'm glad. But he hurt his leg playing soccer and he couldn't wrestle. So we had 2, and they weren't the right weights. So we just said, "Oh, I guess we'll go watch the football game then, boys, because this doesn't make any sense." That was practice today.
Well, then having to fight when you can get into the facility. Are they, waxing the floors and can you get in to even practice?
We've had 2 legitimate practices over the break, and they were not well attended. So it is what it is, man. It is what
Today
it is.
was probably our best attendance, but I think it's correct because we got the duels on Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
Well, some guys are probably like, if I don't go to practice, I'm not going to make weight.
Well, I'm pretty strict about if you're not at practice, you don't wrestle, which is why we only brought, 10 guys to the Shark, because I'm not bringing a kid who shows up the day before. We got a kid that says he'll be back tomorrow. I don't, you haven't been here all break. You're going to show up the day before a dual tournament. I can't trust you're going to be able to wrestle 5 matches. And, taken away, I'd rather, and, win-loss philosophy is a little different, but I'd rather give a young kid a shot who came to all the practices than put a kid who hasn't been at the practices, although they may be the better wrestler.
Everything matters.
And maybe we'll get a match, maybe one at Whale Branch. If I, don't want to send my kid out to be slaughtered, then I might send out the better kid and be like, well, this is your punishment. But
they might get lucky, and it comes down to the end of the match, and you need a win, so you put them in there. But
you've got to. You have that hard thing as a coach, am I setting an example or do I want the rest of the guys to win, So it's hard when you've got, a kid like Theo who battles like all day and then all of a sudden he's got to turn around and look, and because his partner didn't show up for 3 practices, I got to send out a freshman who, might still be learning to tie their shoes. We had, I saw a lot more.
Doesn't know how to tie his shoes yet?
We're working on it. The bunny loops are kind of hard sometimes.
I'm kidding, Schuler. Don't beat me up. That kid's tough.
Loops can pull.
Well, and Schuler's a freshman that we've had to give some big varsity matches to this year. I mean, he got to wrestle at the Shark and open his eyes up, and he got a match at Hilton Head where he ended up losing the 9-10 match. That's the one that we saw his lunch, Dixon. So, that was a freshman. It's kid made weight and decided after weight that it was time for a protein shake and a Slim Jim. And we also
Slim Jim,
the protein shake and the Slim Jim.
Got right.
With 12 seconds left of the match in a very close, well wrestled match.
Dairy and Slim Jims don't need to be going together anyway, but neither one of those makes sense.
He said he's on a heavy protein diet. I just didn't think that's what he was doing. We had to have a little talk about what to eat after weigh-ins and battle fuel, and
like a protein bar would make sense. A protein shake, that's making my stomach funny just thinking about wrestling on a stomach of milk.
Kids are a little different than probably our bodies, but I don't know.
Milk was a bad choice.
I've never seen that much vomit, and I've reffed and coached a long time. I've never seen that much on the wrestling mat.
And I will tell you,
on the mat, bro,
not to be graphic at all. My kid's getting the escape. The Hilton Head's kind of falling to the ankle, and he just happened to hit his stomach. Schuler's standing up, just straight. And
it hit the out of bounds line. Took the entire apron and then a little bit on the floor, and it had to be a quart.
If I wasn't in my pants,
he was running for the trash can and said, "Kobe."
Well, I was standing straight in front of him, and if I wasn't alert, I would have also been having to change my clothes. That
would have set off. That probably would have set off a chain reaction. It would have been like Stand By Me.
It's one of those where. I'm not one of those that are squeamish, but I feel like that would have been the day. That would have been it. And it was a quiet enough gym that when it happened, it just went to silent. Like most people would get grossed out. Everyone just kind of was like, what do we do?
What's the rule on that? Do you start injury time? I mean,
you had injury time.
Yeah, but you're gonna run out because it takes like 20 minutes to clean it.
No, because then it went to cleanup time.
Yeah.
It went to my time. Go change your singlet. We had to wait on somebody from the janitorial staff to come clean that up because we didn't have enough supplies to clean
And
it
he
up.
resumed the match?
Yeah. There's 12 seconds left.
12 seconds. Yeah, something. Yeah. Almost no time left in the match.
And it was funny because it was one of those where I looked at George and said, "Hey, am I allowed to change his singlet?" And he looked at him and goes, "You better." So
I don't want to be on the mat with that nastiness.
Please take it all the way outside.
Well, him and Theo both ran to the bathroom. They changed, and then we made him change everything. I made him put new shoes on and everything. I was just like, "We're gonna start over." But again, that's a freshman that most kids would have been like, "Hey, I'm done. I'm out."
Yeah.
And he went back and wrestled a very tough 12 seconds.
I mean, you can't say he didn't leave it all on the mat.
But he left it all and then some.
Unreal.
That was a new one for me. I've seen kids throw up. I've seen kids throw up while wrestling. That one was new.
Yeah, that was a massive upheaval.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, do we have anything else we need to discuss tonight? We good to go?
Yeah, fellas, have a good night. I think I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks so much to the presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind, Reverence Wrestling Club, as well as all of our Loco sports sponsors, especially our all-star sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm. They've been with us since the beginning, and we appreciate them. You can hear more about all of our sponsors on the Loco Sports Lowdown. We'll be back on tomorrow night, 9:30, for the Loco Sports Lowdown, talking hoops and wrestling and everything else in the Loco, including big commitment on the college football front. Carnell Warren from Bluffton going to Virginia Tech. The commitment has occurred. Yeah. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow night on the Lowdown. But thanks to Ashley Powell for joining us tonight, as well as Coach Hagan, Coach Rutherford, and the ref, Coach Dixon. You're also a coach. We're all coaches. Once you're coach, you're always coach, right? I mean, you always answer to coach. So, but thanks, fellas. Always fun talking wrestling with you guys, people who love it as much as I do, maybe even a little bit more. There was a time in my life I didn't think I'd ever find anybody who loved wrestling more than me, but I've found my people out here in South Carolina. So it's great to do this with you guys and support our sport and shine a light on the guys and girls who are out there grinding in the Loco. So thanks to all of you who are grinding and everybody who showed up to listen or watch. We'll see you real soon for another edition of the Loco Grind presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. Until next time, go Loco.